The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2 has come and gone.
Yeah, I just watched it, man. You know when I knew it was going to be a good episode?
When'd you know?
When they had the little MASH Easter egg. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
I didn't watch much of it. Tell me about that Easter egg.
Well, basically in the middle of camp, they have a signpost, and they have little signs, to everyone's hometown, like, so many miles to Honolulu, blah, blah, blah. And
right.
On the signpost in that little work camp, they had assigned to Toledo, which is Klinger's hometown.
Oh, so, that's cool.
Yeah,
so
cool little MASH Easter egg. Yeah, it's like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much MASH. Watched a lot of Nick at Night and old stuff, like I Love Lucy. And
yeah, it used to come on FX all the time. I'd watch like 2 episodes before I went to school and like 2 episodes when I'd get back from school. It used to be all over FX.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, very good show. We're the Podcasting Dead, so obviously we're a podcast and we talk a lot about The Walking Dead. Some other stuff every now and again, but at the moment it's primarily just The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I don't sound like I have something in my mouth. The last podcast, somebody commented and said it sounded like I had something in my mouth the whole podcast. Just my tongue and teeth.
Yeah, you definitely need those in your mouth. I don't know a better place to put them.
And spit,
Yeah, some saliva.
Gums. I mean, I do have stuff in my mouth. Just
right.
Nothing that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But we just got hit with a Hurricane Michael. It didn't get us quite as bad as places like Florida, but we got slammed. Thursday, I got to my house around 3 o'clock, and everything was normal. It was just raining. I went inside. I fixed a sandwich. I let my dog out. Yada, yada, yada. Maybe 20 minutes, went by, and I walked back outside to take my dog outside, and there was actually a river, and I kid you not, like breaking trees. I had trees, debris. There's a car tire floated through my yard. So it's been hectic. It even took our radio stations down for a brief little bit. So we've been through the ringer the last few days.
Yeah, man, I got really lucky. A lot of my neighborhood got trashed, but my little house, my yard, you'd never know anything happened, except it blew my trash can away.
What a tragedy.
Yeah.
The flood was up in my yard. It got up to my neck. You could measure because there was a laid over tree across the original creek where it started. And you could see where the debris had piled up in this tree, and then it was a point where it stopped, and it was about up to my neck, and I'm like 6 foot even. So, I mean, it was close to 6 feet in my yard, and it didn't wash. I was worried it was going to wash away my fire pit, like it's like stones, and it didn't wash away my fire pit, but it did take away my entire wood pile. Like I had a wood pile, hundreds of pounds of wood, covered by a tarp, and it just swept that right away. I have no clue where it is.
Well,
but at least my fire pit's good.
Yeah, there you go.
It looks like the beach in my yard all the same. But anyway, so we've been through the ringer. So if I sound a little tired, I apologize. Also, Saturday was a bachelor day. One of my friends is getting married, so it was a long day. I'm kind of still recovering.
Yeah, lots of blow and hookers.
No blow and no hookers.
What kind of bachelor party was this?
I know. It was not one you'd want to be at.
Oh, geez, apparently not. Nobody got married this weekend, and my Saturday was full of blow and hookers. Lord have mercy.
Oh, boy. But so starting it off, and Matty D, unfortunately, due to the storm, does not have power. So he was not able to watch this week's episode.
What a shame.
Unfortunately, he won't be able to join us. But nonetheless, JP, let's just start it off, man. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it start to finish, brother. I mean,
just like last week.
Yeah, I think it's definitely back on some solid ground. I'm liking what's going on. Everybody's sort of fine. Everybody's got a boo thing. Ezekiel and Carol are now pretty official, and
She got the ring on that finger?
Yeah, didn't let him make his speech, but, I
love Ezekiel, man. Ezekiel's so awesome. He's like, but I prepared a speech. I really like him and the actor that plays him. I think that he's awesome. I really would not be upset if things didn't play out. And before we get into this, comic spoilers and show spoilers. So you've been warned as of now. If you zone out and you don't hear that, I am sorry, but we will be spoiling the show. And not spoiling the comic crazy, but I mean, I'm sure every now and again, JP and I have been reading the comic for years, so I'm sure every now and again we will make a reference to the comic. But we try to give you a little warning before each comic spoiler, but no more warnings for the show. Spoilers from here on out. But at the beginning, I got excited because I was like, hey, we finally get to see those those Negan and Rick speeches. We get to see those Nick speeches. We'll just combine the names.
Yeah,
Rick
why
and Negan.
not?
Nick. But we got to see that speech, kind of.
We got a little taste.
And it's interesting because, again, comic spoiler, but in the comics, it's Carl that has these talks with Negan. Rick doesn't really start talking to Negan as much until the whole Whisperer War thing starts really getting crazy. It's Carl that Negan grows to, enjoy these talks, and things like that. But so we got a tease of that when you get to see Negan. But we saw Rick walking down the steps. There's a guy in our company named Nick as well, so don't.
Oh, geez, have you ever had to lock him in a cell?
Not to my knowledge.
Not yet. Never had to slit his throat.
Back in the blowing hookers days, I don't know.
Oh yeah, lots hazy.
My tamed modern self, no. But Rick, it looks like Officer Friendly's back. He's kind of walking through the people, and it's like, hey Rick, what's up, Rick? And it's like, Season 1 Officer Friendly is back.
Yeah, man. Daryl definitely not seeming so friendly, though. He's those saviors definitely getting under his skin.
Where is that I put, and I know that him and Daryl aren't as bad as they were, but I put Daryl and Rick are arguing again, snore, because I've said it a couple of times in the past. Though I will say, of their disagreement, this one, I feel like if I hadn't just watched them duke it out on the side of the road last season and then make up, I would actually enjoy this conflict, because it is. Rick's lost a lot too, but these people held Daryl captive and just treated him terribly, and so Daryl's just it's hard to be friends with your captors. These guys were beating the crap out of him a while back, and now he's kind of got to lead them.
It is a weird decision on Rick's part to put Daryl in charge of the sanctuary, right?
I think that's just because he's kind of taken Dwight's place from the comics, because we haven't seen Dwight yet.
Yeah.
2 episodes in, and in the comics, it was Dwight that was in charge, and just like Daryl, Dwight was very reluctant. He really didn't care to lead the Saviors, even down the road. He still did not. In one of the most recent comics, he just talked about how he really had no desire to lead the Saviors. So they definitely are sliding Daryl into that role.
Yeah, and trying to make the Saviors more of like a pacifist group. He disarmed them, the whole thing. Maybe Aaron would have been a better fit to lead them. What did he say when they first introduced the character? Like he was going into like third world war-torn countries and doing all that kind of stuff. So,
talking about Aaron?
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, that time I was eating some banana taffy, so it's not like I had something in my mouth, But, honestly, that's sad. I don't remember. And I have went back, the one season I haven't went back and rewatched, like recently. I've watched seasons 1 through 4. I watched most of season 5, but like the last half of season 5, like pretty much once Aaron, and I don't know why I love Aaron. Like in my notes, it says Aaron's awesome. Like I hated that he lost his arm. I like Aaron a lot, but I don't know. I just hadn't went back and rewatched.
Yeah,
Aaron's,
he wasn't like a military guy. I want to say it was like Peace Corps kind of stuff or something like that. But yeah, he was going to like these war-torn kind of third world countries and doing recon. It was something that, like I said, I haven't watched in a long time either. Read the source material that far back in a long time, but I don't know. Maybe Aaron would have been a good fit for the sanctuary. I
like Aaron. I think Aaron could be a good leader.
He's rational. He's compassionate. You know.
Yeah. He can take an ass whooping.
He can.
Because we watched the Saviors beat the crap out of him back in season 7, and he's heart's still beating. What did you think about Carol being back in kind of mama mode?
It was good to see
with Henry. We haven't seen her really have that kind of. We haven't seen that kind of relationship since Sophia, because she was in charge of those two, Lizzie and Mika, but even then it was more. Not so much a motherly role as it was kind of like a drill instructor or like just a leader, to keep them alive. She wasn't so much concerned with nurturing and.
Yeah, it was nice. She gave him got a kiss on the cheek and made sure he had his staff with him.
Yeah, can't go out without that staff.
No, but he ended up needing it, man. That's a tough water boy gig he's got, man.
No kidding, man.
That dude was just such a dick.
Why does the guy who's a douche name have to be Justin? No Justins in this show thus far, but of course the first one we see is a major douchebag.
Yeah. Yep. And man, Daryl's little comment, was something to the effect of only one way to deal with these people, talking about the Saviors. What is he talking about? Just lining them up against a wall and gunning them down?
Yeah. This is Daryl, man. He's brutal.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of like reverting back to sort of like Merle mode, He's just, you got a problem, you nip that sucker in the bud.
And I mean, the thing is, the Savior's that irrational, though. Like, yeah, they're providing a lot of the labor force, but they're doing that to pay for the food. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's like, you guys gotta, just. I mean, you just got defeated by a rival group, and they're not only allowing you to live, but they're helping you to live by giving you food and, helping run. I mean, yeah, they took your guns, but can you blame them? You also tried to murder them all, not too long ago. So they've got their guns. And I did like the comparison, though, with somebody was like, take their guns and protect them. Who does that sound like?
Yeah.
Because that is a very good point. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. These people just need to get. I'd be like, look, man. We got to get with the program. These people are keeping us alive. We need them. If anything else, we don't have to like what's going on. But right now, we need these people. They're giving us food. They're keeping us alive. Let's just tough it up until we're able to stand on our own.
Yeah, and I think I don't think it takes too many guesses to figure out what happened to that ethanol shipment, what the lurking threat is, threatening the sanctuary and all that.
What do you think happened to it? You think the whispers?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And we won't skip too far ahead because I definitely want to talk about that ending scene. But how did you like Eugene's pimp hat? He's got that like Australian kind of thing going, man. He's
doing his thing, man. He's the only one that doesn't look like he's got a boo thing right now. I don't know.
It's crazy how the role, it's like out in the wild or on the road, Eugene is all but useless. I mean, you just fight to keep him safe pretty much. But in this new world, he's very useful. He's arguably one of the most useful people they have. I mean, he comes up with the plans for everything. He's highly intelligent. He's just a little weaker and cowardlier. But
oh man,
we've seen him toughen up a little last season.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he's, it's just funny to see night and day how like a few seasons back he was worthless. He just aside from thinking he had the cure in his head, he had no purpose. I mean, he had to be protected constantly. He was a danger, even manipulative. Remember when he shot the gas tank of the truck?
Yeah, that was a pretty powerful moment when they're walking through the work camp and he sees one of the dudes that he blew part of his hand off. He's just like he should have said something. I don't know, like, hey there, Stumpy.
How's that hand doing?
Yeah, I do apologize for me impairing your sawing abilities. Nonetheless, we need this bridge put together ASAP there, Tonto. Tonto, I shouldn't say that. That could be construed as a Native American slur. And I don't think the guy was Native American. He says lots of weird stuff. So, anyway.
And you got Enid taking the role of the next Doctor. How do you think about that? Or how do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Man, she seems to be doing all right. I mean, she sawed a guy's arm off more than I could do.
I'm really worried Sadiq's going to come back and then they're going to tell him what happened. And he's going to be like, why did you amputated his arm?
Yeah.
You just needed to reset the bone. I mean, and I mean, his arm was pretty wrecked. I mean, there's no way. I mean, that arm was destroyed. Maybe there was a way to save it. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to argue with someone who knows more about the medical field. But I mean, it didn't look like it was the arm was able to be saved. But I just have this fear that Sadiq's going to show up and be like, "You did what?
Yeah.
What happened? Why didn't you blah 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 blah?" He could, and maybe that'll cause a rift between Aaron and Enid. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. I don't know.
But yeah, it was interesting too because I watched again. I always watch about like 5-10 minutes of The Talking Dead, then I go on to bed because I have to get up early. But number one, Enid seems like a really cool person in real life.
No kidding.
Forgive me for not knowing the actress's name. I used to know it, but I just hadn't said it in a while, so it slipped my mind. But she seemed really, really cool, and they actually had her like practice sewing, like learning medical things to do this scene and take that role. But yeah, so what'd you think of Maggie trying to break that horse?
Man, she's trying to break a lot of things, man.
She was, she's just, I wonder if there was some like symbolism there. She's like taming the wild horse. I've already started figuring out and piecing together, as I'm sure lots of those out there listening have, of where Maggie's going to go. I think I know what's going to happen.
Oh, do you know?
We already think that Maggie's not going to die because I think Lauren Cohen had said something to the effect of like, I'd be open to coming back. It'd be that, I guess you could say, well, maybe she dies and she's talking about like, because, Stephen Yin refuses to come back, not even in a flashback. He's the one, like, you have all that aggression to Andrew Lincoln. Stephen Yin wouldn't even agree to come back to be in a flashback. He was like, I don't want to be in a flashback. I don't want to be an apparition. I'm done with that show. Like, just done.
Well, I mean, his death was such like just a pinnacle moment. I mean, how can you even? You can't top that. I mean,
So as mad as you are at Andrew Lincoln, You're not a little bit mad at Steven Yeun for not just being willing to come back for fans to make a cameo.
No, I don't think it would fit. I don't. No, I'm not into all these.
So if Rick dies and he's seeing like Herschel and Shane and all of these people that went before, I mean, don't you think Glenn should be there? I mean, Glenn's the one that pulled him out of a mess. Rick probably would have died if it wasn't for Glenn.
I'm done with all these dead people hallucinations. I think if he's going to die, he should just,
whatever.
Yeah, get kind of blurry and just,
just kill over. No sentiment.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, right. I know you. If he just did that, you'd be like, this is Rick Grimes. You can't I know how you work. Don't fall for JP. JP's saying that now, but if it came to that, JP would be furious.
No, we had the T-Dog thing. We don't not T-Dog. Who died like that? Tyrese, right? We don't need that again.
A lot of people apparently really didn't like that episode. I liked it. I thought it was cool seeing these dead characters, but a lot of apparently the big consensus I see online of. Is that's considered a pretty bad episode. Like, I guess I have terrible taste because 9 times out of 10, if everybody hates it, I'm like, well, hell with it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Just like the new Purge movie or the newest one, I watched it, and it was terrible. It had a couple of good moments, but I just thought the movie sucked. But I've seen a lot of people who are like, oh, that movie was great. I'm like, of course it was because I didn't like it.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I
have terrible taste.
I know a lot of political overtones in that, and as I've said
before. It's not even so much that. Yeah. It's just silly things like... I remember watching a zombie movie. What was it? It was based off of that video game. Everybody played at the bowling alley. God, what was that movie called? It's been a while. But anyways, basically, it's these regular characters that were there to party, and then just in the middle of the movie, they just become martial arts combat masters with like no training, anything.
It's not like House of the Dead or anything.
That might have been it. Yeah, it might have been like the second one.
I don't know.
Or whatever. It's on an island.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, whenever anytime movies do that, where these characters, then they give you no background really of, I don't know. Anyways, but to the Purge's credit, I haven't liked any of them.
Okay.
From the first one. As much as I liked Ethan Hawke, I thought the first one was awful, and there was one in the middle that was kind of okay. Like, I didn't like it, but I was like, I mean, it's better than the other one. And then this one came out, and I was like, I don't like any of them. But anyways, listening to Maggie and Michonne talk business, I don't know. It's weird because it's almost like they're speaking to each other different. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're no longer, because they're not, but they're no longer part of the same group. They're more like allies now. But It's like after everything you've been through together, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. And I understand both sides. Like, I love Michonne's kind of taking the role of the moral compass, which scares me. I hope they do, because they always love to kill off the moral compass.
That's true.
Stay away from Michonne. But I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but it's just like, it's like listening to two. I don't know. Like I don't even know how to describe it. It didn't feel like family like it used to. But maybe it's just me reading too much into it.
It's good to see that Jesus still got a head on his a good head on his shoulders, though. He's definitely seeing that Maggie's going a little overboard, but he's reeling her in.
Well, and we got to
shown, so
yeah, we got to see, and I'm wondering if we're going to see Aaron and Jesus get together because last episode they kind of because spoilers, comics 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. But, in the comics they're now a thing, so I'm interested to see if they'll get. But that doesn't mean anything for the show. I mean, they might not do that on the show. Also, Aaron didn't find a kid in the comics, right? Like, I don't remember Aaron having like a little baby, did he?
Not that I can remember.
It's been so long. It's been years since I've read that, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But so it don't mean anything. I mean, Aaron didn't lose his arm in the comics either.
No.
So but I'm just wondering if they'll go that route. But we got. I'm kind of staying in order a little bit here. You can really feel the tension building between Maggie, Rick, and Michonne.
Yeah, and
it's like this underlying tension that you can tell it's there, and it's kind of. I guess it started with Rick refusing to kill Negan.
Yeah, I was going to say Negan is the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the cell, as it were. I mean, Maggie just wants to see him swinging from a rope, man. She wants to be there and watch the life fade from his eyes.
And rightfully so. I don't blame her. I mean, he not only killed her husband, but he did so in a very brutal and just like inhumane way. I mean, it was horrible. So I can't imagine what the trauma of seeing something like that would do. So I mean, I don't blame her one bit. Like, I mean, Rick's my boy, so I'm like usually always with Rick because I think Rick's just the man. But I feel Maggie on that one. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I really couldn't tell her how she should feel. I mean, a horrible thing to go through. So,
I mean, in the long run, I think Rick made the right call. Because, like I say, you don't want to make a martyr out of Negan and then just. I mean, that's the whole reason Negan didn't kill Rick.
But unfortunately, we found out, not all of them. I'm sure some saviors are still, because, I mean, you got to watch out for a rat. She was, like, super loyal to Negan. And, of course, now she's got that, short blonde haircut and everything, and she's seeming to be in line with Rick and them. But during the, last season or two, man, she was like Negan's right-hand woman.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she was fiercely loyal. So I'm sure you had some people there would have been loyal, but now we come to find out most of the Sanctuary hated Negan.
So it seems.
As the writing goes, last season, they're like, Negan's alive. Bless you, Negan. When he comes back with Gabriel after he's been missing for a while, they're like, bless you, Negan. But now they're like, is he suffering? Make sure he suffers. But, so yeah, I mean, I see both sides. I mean, I think you're right, but I also understand Maggie's side.
Yeah, I mean, that was her baby daddy,
It was Glenn.
Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing the paintings up on her wall and the.
I had that written down. It was cool to see the Glenn painting.
Yeah, it almost reminds you of like the variant covers coming out right now for The Walking Dead. Yeah.
I missed the last one.
I'll come across it.
I hope. But yeah, we had Henry showing Justin a business with that stick, doing a nice little leg sweep.
Yeah.
I wish Henry was a little bit bigger and could have just Bobby Boucher'd his ass.
Yeah, for real.
The water sucks.
Yeah.
Give me more water, and kaboom. But yeah, he took that stick out and put him on the ground quick, and then Justin's just such a douche.
Yeah, man. I mean, just Daryl had every right to hit him with a pot.
Yeah.
I'd have popped him with a pot, too.
Daryl beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I mean, it's that guy's fault for, But, I mean, you wonder, though, did his battery really die?
That's the question.
I mean, if it did, then he was a douche, yeah. But then I kind of feel bad for him because it's like bad timing, man. The universe hates you.
Yeah,
you just had an issue with Daryl and all of the other people, and then your battery dies when you play a critical role in steering a herd that ends up getting someone very injured. Just time to go.
Yeah, man. I really wish they had elaborated on whether he did that like intentionally or what.
Because I don't know. I mean, if his batteries really did die, well then, damn, poor guy.
I mean, Jerry was doing his job. Jerry ain't slouching.
Jerry's the man.
Yeah, and it's nice to see he's getting a little action too.
Got him a girlfriend. Yeah,
man. Everybody's
it's kind of been the theme. It seems everybody's getting him a little action.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Jerry's cool, man. He just seems like the whole cast. Or not so much the cast, sorry, but like the characters in this show. Jerry's definitely the one you'd want to go down to the bar and get a drink with. Daryl would just sit there and would just be brooding the whole time, just kind of like.
Yeah, Jerry seems like he'd be a really cool like bartender.
Right,
I could see him like having his own little bar. Hey Mac,
you tell him about your problems.
Yeah,
he makes you laugh.
Yeah,
this one's on me. That kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, I like Jerry. I think he's awesome. We got some great people on this show. And then we got back. Like I said, I'm kind of going in order here, but I said it is cool to see like them talking about ways to continue life when you can't just go to the grocery store. Like, what was he talking about? Like boiling ketchup?
Yeah.
Ways to stretch things out and try to keep some comforts of the old world when you can't just ride down to the store and get ketchup.
Yeah, man, Eugene's all about the simple pleasures, and you got to love it.
I think that's important. We've talked about that before, like just talking of like, if the zombie apocalypse happened, we've always said Matt, the other guy that podcasts with us that's still without power. Hopefully he gets power back soon. But
he might be boiling ketchup right now.
But, we always said he would definitely be our cook because not only does he enjoy cooking, but he's really good at it. And I think in these crazy times, people need some kind of comfort, even if it's just in the meal they eat. So, I think Eugene and Matt would be thinking the same.
Yeah, man. Like I said, Eugene just loves the simple pleasures. A nice jar of pickles.
I was just about to say
watching
pickles.
two of his best friends have sex. It's the little things.
What did you think about the Tammy thing? Do you think that Maggie should have allowed her to talk to her husband?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. And I could definitely, like, before they even brought it up, I saw some parallels with him and with Herschel. the whole drinking and making poor decisions, but, still being a good person deep down. Even though, man, he tried to kill a woman with a baby in a stroller. I've been blackout drunk and done some very obnoxious things.
Likewise.
But I've never, which I've also never lost a son. I've never had a son. But, I mean, just straight up trying to murder somebody, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's why I like when Jesus told Jesus told Tammy, he's like, he tried to kill Maggie. Like, he tried to kill her. Like, this wasn't just a normal little crime here. I mean, he tried to straight up murder Maggie, who coincidentally is also the leader of what we've got here. I mean, you can't just try to kill the president and everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would definitely let him do his blacksmith stuff, but it'd be like work release. Like, you go back to that cell when you're done. Yeah.
Like what they did at the end. Yeah.
So they did put him back in his cell when he was done working?
Yeah. She said he was out. He would be supervised, and he would be doing his blacksmith stuff until they... I took it as they were putting him back in the cell at the end of the day, but he was allowed out and he could do his blacksmith stuff. And basically, just like you said, it's kind of like a work release. And Maggie said that he would be supervised until they decided he didn't need to be. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if he was actually getting to go back home or if he was staying in the cell when he wasn't working.
I would think he was staying in the cell.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I mean, like I said, it's not like this guy got drunk and just pissed on the church. I mean, right. This is a guy that straight up tried to murder someone. And I like what he told her. Like, why'd you hang Gregory and not me? I wonder if this is kind of showing Maggie to the need to not just have knee jerk reactions. I mean, we all knew Gregory should have went because he's even she doesn't realize that he's already considered killing her before. Remember when she was outside the walls and he came up and he had that knife behind his back? Then they got attacked by walkers and he never,
Yeah.
But I wonder if she's learning, hey, I should talk to these people before I kill them, minus Gregory. Screw Gregory.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to take that approach with Negan either. I think her stance on him is pretty firm as well.
Besides the parallels to Herschel, do you think there was any parallel because Maggie's talking to a guy in a cell, Rick's talking to a guy in the cell, in a cell? I mean, I feel like they were definitely going for something there, maybe showing the different approaches. I don't know, but it definitely seems to be some parallels there.
Yeah, maybe.
Both have a man in a cell who tried to kill him.
That's true.
Negan tried to kill Rick. This guy Earl tried to kill Maggie.
So you think what Maggie's approach with Earl is what Rick's going to end up trying with Negan?
Who knows? I mean, we might see that. I feel like they're definitely building up for something there. And if you're one of those very intuitive people, please let me know what you think the parallels are in the comic, in the comments section. I can't even talk, period. The last month, man, of podcasting, I've just thought about dropping out because I cannot talk.
But one thing you have to consider, Earl's a blacksmith. Maggie lets him out to blacksmith.
He's got a skill, right?
Yeah. So what's Negan's skill? What's Rick going to have to let him out to do?
Stand-up comedy.
Maybe. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Comedy nights with Negan.
Yeah,
they got guns pointed at him the whole time. Yeah. Gabriel and Anne, hot damn, getting freaky. Well, did that kind of remind you of the Michonne and Tyrese? A little up in the comics?
A little bit, man. We were definitely getting ready to witness some lip service there. That's for sure. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
He's like, I'm supposed to be on watch. She's like, then watch.
Yeah. Old Gabriel getting that bald head polished. I ain't talking about. Well, just never mind.
I'm just gonna let you go. Say what you want to say. I'm glad to see. Like I said, everybody's getting with somebody. It's the season of love, which means there's going to be a lot more heartbreak when the Whisperers roll through and a lot of these people die.
I was going to say, the mid-season finale, I think, is going to be a gut-wrencher.
Heartbreaking.
And so, you said we have a definitive number of episodes that Rick's going to be in this season.
I thought it was 5 and Maggie's in for 6.
Right.
But I might be wrong. Maybe Rick's in for 6. But I know that I've somewhere heard 5 episodes.
And that may not be 5 consecutive episodes.
They damn well better be.
Yeah.
It better be. I think they say in episode 5 is when he dies.
Really?
I think that's what they're not even spoiling. I've just read that on USA Today or some website. I think.
3 episodes, man. 3 episodes.
I think. And I might be wrong. Please correct me because we don't claim to be the experts on this show. We just love to discuss it.
I know you had mentioned that there was X amount of episodes he was doing this season.
Yeah. I'd be furious if like he died in episode 5, but he wasn't in the next 2 episodes. I'd be like, are you kidding me, man? You're going to take him away but not give us a little extra time with him?
Whew, man, hard to believe.
And then we get to see Anne and Earl reunited.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Daryl is going to feel like such
Not Anne. I keep saying Anne. Tammy, I'm sorry. For those name Nazis, I'd call them, the people that get furious when you get a name wrong. In the comment section.
Man, there's so many characters at this point. I'm not even trying to correct you because I'm not sure I would be right either. We really last season we had a character list. We need to get another one going.
Yeah, I mean it's like I know most of them, but again, like I said, there's so many, and I keep wanting. And Anne is such a fitting name for that lady, you know, Anne and Earl.
Right,
it just sounds like a couple you'd meet around here, so it's just easy to say.
Yeah,
Anne.
Is that who you were saying was with Gabriel?
No, Anne was with Gabriel. Tammy, it was reunited with Earl because after Maggie, you know, talked to him or whatever, you know, she decided to let Tammy in to see him after Tammy was going off on Jesus.
Gotcha.
They had a guy just come to the door earlier this morning going off on me like Tammy was going off on Jesus. The only difference was I'm just like, dude, piss off. I got stuff to do.
Was he just going to be like, I got nowhere to be. I'll just sit here.
Yeah.
Sit here until you properly cover the weather.
Well, there's a bus stop right out by the road. So, you know, if you want to scooch that way, you can catch a ride whenever you do feel like leaving. But yeah, we got them reunited. And then how about Rosita blowing up Schnitt with a rat? That's got to be weird. Some of the pairings here are really weird because a rat's the one that, you know, held her to the ground and put the knife to her face and gave her, you know, a little scar or whatever, and then shot the poor girl that was God. I am so sorry. I'm brain dead. I'm telling you, man.
Tara's girlfriend, right? Or
no.
Tara's girlfriend got the crossbow.
She got the arrow through the eye. You're talking about Denise. She got the arrow through the eye.
Jeez, man, we are awful.
I'm awful. I'm going to probably let you start podcasting solo, and I'm just going to sit here and run the controls.
That'll be very entertaining.
I bet it would be. I bet you would be.
Yep. Yep. Just agreeing with myself. A very good point, JP. Yep.
Olivia. That was her name, and I did not look that up. I just had to search the twisted web.
Again, it's like 7 a.m., and bear with us. But we do enjoy talking about it early in the morning. And I watched it on Amazon Prime, so I literally just finished the episode. Rick was showing off with that log pile. He easily could have just walked over there and hatcheted that rope and let the logs roll, man. He had to, you know.
I put in here somewhere when they were doing the... I mean, this is just my
Rick's
experience.
Showing off, brother.
I'm sure woodsmen out there are going to be like, no, you need to, and that's fine. But just from my experience, and you know, I've had to chop down lots of trees and branches and things like that.
Right.
And but like Daryl's sitting there using a saw to cut off the limbs, and I'm thinking, unless they just don't have one, like, dude, go get a hatchet.
Yeah.
I just had to take some limbs off of a tree around my house, and I took my hatchet out there, and like 2 swipes, boom, it's gone. You know, But as a saw, you just like, I just feel like a saw would wear you out quicker. But
if I'd have been one of those guys, man, like on that workforce and saw Rick do that, I'd been like, dude, we could have took out those last few. Do you know how long it took us to stack those goddamn logs? Come on, Rick.
No wonder you're dying in like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, that looked really awesome, Rick. But now we've kind of got to drag them all back up that hill.
I put that on there too. Like, even though you're exactly right, that still was badass though. I mean, like those logs rolling. I love the creative zombie kills, man. Sure. That was. I
mean, there were a few walkers left, but I still would have been like, bro, come on. We could have took them out.
You could have just like axed them.
Yeah, I mean, we already have the high ground, and now we got to drag all those logs back up here. Thanks a lot, Mr. Rick.
Yeah, and going in order, actually, Tammy and Earl got to reunite before Maggie talked to Earl and got the whole drinking thing. But still, just making sure that people don't think we're going.
There's a lot going on this episode, man.
It was. I write down as we go along, try to keep it in order, but sometimes we, bounce around. But that's just the way it works. But that's weird to put a rat and Rosita together. I mean, a rat's
interesting pairing.
And then we got Earl talking about trading smoking for drinking. Quite the change
what
there.
A weird like thing to even. I mean, I don't know, man. Because most people coming up that I knew that like got into smoking started smoking because they were drinking.
I only now. Mean? Yeah, I don't smoke cigarettes. Regularly. But if I have a few drinks, then I'll take a cigarette.
Generally, drinking leads to smoking, and drinking like kills your inhibitions. So if you're drinking, and you're already a smoker, you would probably start smoking because you don't give a damn.
That's a great way to put
that was not a lot of logic there, but whatever.
I prefer a cigar. Like I hate to sound older than I am, but I love like a whiskey and cigar like combo just to sit and chill.
Right.
But I mean, if I've had a few drinks, I'll take a cigarette. No, it's not good for me, but I mean, but the thought of smoking one sober is just
right.
Ugh. But
and maybe Earl didn't elaborate. Maybe he was like smoking meth before he started drinking. Maybe it's a whole different
Speaking
bag
of Merle,
oranges. Yeah, maybe it was smoking a little crystal. Who knows?
Oh, I used to smoke a little meth, some crack, and I traded that for drinking. That makes sense. Okay, so you still got to get messed up. But yeah, Maggie and Earl's talks in the jail cell. I wonder, I wrote down exactly what we've already covered. I said Maggie and Earl's talks in the jail cell. I wonder if there's a parallel to Rick and Negan's talks. Also, there's a parallel. I like the parallel to, I can't read my own stuff, to Herschel. Mm-hmm. So we've already covered that. I used to use a snorkel lift like that you saw Tara and then Ann sitting in. I used to, when I was an electrician, I used those snorkel lifts all the time, and it took me a while. I don't really care for heights, so going that high took me a while to get used to, you know what I mean? And got to eventually where I just could roll through it and not think much. That's the secret to heights. Just don't think much about it and just do,
I wonder if the hydraulics still work on that thing, or if they have like a ladder they have to literally climb up and down every time.
It's a good question. I mean, they run, a lot of them are like propane powered.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I think all of the ones that we use. Now, as far as, I know the scissor lifts were propane powered. Now, as far as the snorkel lifts, I mean, I'm sure some are gasoline powered. I could imagine, but I do think some of them are. But let me know in the comments. It's been like a while since I did electric work, but I think some snorkel lifts like that were propane powered.
I'm telling you, man, it can't be a lot of people left around to like maintenance, something like that.
No, sorry. I'm thinking about forklifts. I told you I'm off. JP, next podcast is just going to be you by yourself. I'm just going to sit here and control the stuff for you. Sorry. Forklifts ran off of propane. The snorkel and the scissor lifts were electric. We plugged those up and charged them. Yes. Okay. So I am sorry. I got that wrong. So before you go to the comment section and start telling me how wrong I was, because, people get off of that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It was electric. My bad.
Electric. Okay.
Though I could see some being, you have electric golf carts and some are gas powered. So who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, so I don't know. It's a good question. They very well, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Let us know. I'm not an expert. I just used to use them a lot. I never worked on them or anything. So let us know how
I was going to say, that thing breaks down while you're up there, man. It's going to be a scary
feeling. They have like emergency, like you can, you can hit a button and basically, I don't know if it releases something or whatever, but like even if it was to die or something like that, it'll lower you back down.
Well, I feel a little bit better now.
You just didn't want to see Ann and Tara in that kind of danger.
No, of course not. Nobody. Ooh.
It'd be a safe spot to be at, though.
Yeah, it would. I mean,
well, until they saw you. If they saw you and started rocking that. Oh, imagine that, man. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't do that with a scissor lift, because scissor lifts actually will tip quite a bit easier, I feel, than those snorkel lifts. The snorkel lifts have such a big base.
Right.
It's real big, and it probably would be harder to flip. Whereas some scissor lifts, man, it'd take us a couple of zombies on one side, and
yeah.
But yeah, and then the next thing I put was, of course, the Darryl and the hatchet on the limbs. I think would be easier than the saw, but that's just been my experience. But then the next thing that I wrote down was, holy hell, his arm is jacked up. Mm-hmm. Aaron's arm was.
Yeah, man, dude with rope holding duty, really, no pun intended, drop the ball. I mean, Jesus Christ,
You think they have the little thing up that says like 0 days without accidents?
Oh.
And on the way out, someone was like, they had to erase, like, I can imagine in this atmosphere it probably was like 3 days if they were lucky. So he's like, damn it, Rick said if we got to 10 we'd get a vacation day.
Yeah.
0.
No pizza party for us.
Right. We're never gonna get those pizza and cupcakes now. Damn it, Aaron. But yeah, his arm was messed up. And I put that sharpshooting, I guess Rick shooting the rope is what I was talking about.
Right.
I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, man, showing off old Rick with the rifle.
And like I said, I love the log kills. I'm like you. I don't know if that was necessary, but it did look badass.
Yeah, it might have been a little impractical, but, Rick probably didn't know, like, there could have been a lot more down there, so.
I really didn't see Aaron losing his arm. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that was going to happen. Like, it just shows you, man, Angela Kang, she's making sure, like, hey, just because you know the comics don't mean you know how things are going to play out.
Yeah.
Which others have done that before, obviously, but I think she's doing it. We're only 2 episodes in, so it's going to be hard. You got to kind of give it at least a half season to kind of look back, reflect. But I think Angela Kang being, now the showrunner, I think she's doing a great job. I've really enjoyed these last 2, man. Hopefully this is a good sign of things to come. Because she's definitely, in my opinion, I mean, I've talked to a few people that didn't really like the first episode, but I feel like they're starting out strong. I feel like they've kind of reinvented the show to an extent. Things are a lot different than the last time we left them. So, good job to Angela Kang.
Yeah, kudos. Kudos.
And then I said, a Herschel reference.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, and especially being that, he's passed away in real life now, it just makes it even sadder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. I put Rick whooped that ass. I love when Rick said, "Stitches won't fix what I do to you." That was bad freaking ass. Rick's like, next time, Stitches, if I see you again, I think that's what he said, but he's like, "Stitches won't fix what I'll do to you." It's like, damn, Rick.
Yeah, man, Rick, he asserts his dominance.
I love when he has this little, like when he told Spencer, when he was walking away, and Spencer, I can't remember what he said, but Spencer said something to Rick, and Rick's like, "If you ever say that again, I'm going to knock your teeth down. I'm going to break your jaw, knock your teeth down your throat," or something to that effect. And I'm like, damn, Rick's a beast.
You can take the boy out of Georgia, but you can't take the Georgia out the boy.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Aaron's awesome is what I liked Rick and Aaron's talk. I like that Aaron's sitting there with one arm missing, but still understanding and, you know what I mean? How many other people would have been like, "This is all your fault. We should have never teamed up with the Saviors. I told you, blah, blah, blah." And Aaron's just, like still telling Rick, like, "Man, you're doing a great job.
We should have just used a rope bridge like in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Why do we have to cut all those logs down?"
I don't even like woodwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still.
It's like I only got into the lumberjack business because I want a reason to grow the beard.
I only got in the lumberjack business because Daryl is my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I like Aaron, man. I was really sad to see him have to lose an arm. But and then I guess we went out of order because then I put Frog mating calls, aka Father Gabriel mating calls.
Yeah. That old Episcopalian Mac Daddy. Yeah.
Oh, and then, of course, we go to a few other things, but Ezekiel, who we've already covered, is awesome. That's when Ezekiel and Carol had their talk, and she got the ring and wouldn't let Ezekiel make his speech, what I would have loved to have heard, by the way. I love hearing Ezekiel's, speeches and stuff.
Yeah, man. And going back to Gabriel real quick,
that would be the part of the episode that you zoned in on the most.
But no, when she was first, trying to flirt with him and stuff, I was like, man, they're really going to like broach, because, there's been a lot of call for recall in the Catholic Church, like, priests should be able to get married, yada, yada, yada. I was like, they're really going to go there and like broach this topic, they don't have to now because he's Episcopalian.
Right.
But yeah.
AKA, girl, I can get that booty.
I was going to say, that priest life is tough, man. Last I checked, I don't think there's anyone, and I could be way wrong about this, anyone actually training to be a priest in the United States.
Really?
I could be wrong about that.
Is that a Catholic thing?
Yeah, Catholic, just because, you have to give up all the earthly, delights. You can't, I don't think, property, no marriage.
Can you have cinnamon buns?
I think you can have your sweets. I've seen a lot of
fair cinnamon buns, or I couldn't.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of hefty priests. I went to Catholic school through the 6th grade, and Father Ruth, he was a portly fellow.
Read Preacher, read the graphic novel Preacher. You'll see a very large Catholic priest.
Ooh, roly poly.
Yep,
holy roly poly.
And then of course we go to Rick and Negan's talk. We kind of got teased on that in the beginning, but then we finally got to see Negan. Negan still, letting Rick know, like, man, you think you're in charge, you think you got it on lock, but your way's not gonna work. And I liked when he said, one day this is gonna all go to shit, and it is gonna go to shit. Mm-hmm. You make sure you come down here and tell me about that day too.
Yeah,
I love the dialogue there. I thought it was really good.
With this sneeze coming. Oh, excuse me. I was going to say, with this looming mysterious threat, I mean, who's to say that Negan's military dictatorship wouldn't be the better way to keep everyone alive? I don't know. But, I mean, at the same time, I mean, Rick's got a bigger, more united force with all the communities. I mean, Negan really only had his one, military group, whereas Rick's brought everyone together. Even though Maggie, I mean, she's kind of, like a sovereign state. She's cooperating, but she says, my township or whatever, my rules, we can have common law out there, but look, I'm going to handle business my way, and that's it. And
it's like, in how long before someone rolls through and wants to just take them all, you know what I mean? Like, they won't be able to be like their own little mini countries, or like you said, sovereign states. Someone will want to come along and just take all of them.
I guess right now it is sort of like a confederacy, like a firm league of friendship between the whatever you want to call them. Right.
And then the last part of this podcast, I have to ask, what happened to Justin?
Oh, well, one other thing. Did we mention the helicopter sighting?
No, yeah. And it's like the UFO that's following her around. She just looks up in the sky and there's a helicopter.
So, yeah.
That's one of my favorite Negan scenes of all of last season, when she's got him tied to that little roller or whatever, and he's like, "What the shit? No, seriously, what the shit?" Yeah. She's rolling him out. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know who. I want more information on Ann. Give us some backstory.
As do I.
Looking a lot better without the long black coat and those like weird bangs.
Not looking bad at all.
But yeah, so what happened to Justin? I mean, obviously, I think the obvious answer is we think it's the Whisperers. But at the same time, is it, though? Because he seemed like he was very familiar with the person. He's like, oh, you almost got yourself, killed. And, I mean, unless it just was a regular human and he saw that and he was like, oh, man, you almost got yourself killed. I thought you were a walker type thing. But
well, it could be we've got some missing saviors. It could be a Whisperer wearing a savior suit.
Oh, really?
You never know.
You think they would, excuse me, you think they would go that far?
Man, it could be. He could be wearing one of his buddies' faces. Got him a fresh savior tuxedo on.
That would be a new level of dark for The Walking Dead.
Yeah, for real.
But I mean, I imagine that's got to look messed up, though. I mean, if somebody was wearing your face, it would be pretty obvious pretty quick. Like, oh, Joe, my God. What in the hell?
Kind of reminds me of Men in Black. He was wearing a Edgar suit.
You think maybe it was Daryl?
Man, it might have been.
I don't know if he'd have been that relieved to have seen Daryl out on the road, though. I mean, you hear something creeping around you and Daryl pops out. I don't know that you would be like, oh, man, you almost got yourself. I mean, I imagine it'd be like, what, you're going to kill me? Why are you stalking me? I don't know. What do you think? Please leave. We've got some very I can't talk, man. I'm telling you. It's been a great time podcasting with you guys. I'll miss you going forward in the future until I learn how to talk again. But we got some very intuitive listeners, I guess would be the word to say. I don't know. But
that's a good word.
They dig deep. They know way more than we do. So if you give me a clue what you think happened to Justin, like what, Whisperers or what? And if it was, I don't know. Explain it to me. Tell me. I want to know. But so let's rate this episode.
Or, one last thought. It could have been there could be a little faction of saviors, like took the ethanol. You got like a little militant, band of saviors out there doing their own thing, and they could have just, put a sheet over his head, grabbed him, took him to their secret little camp, and been like, so this is how the insurrection's going to go. All right.
Yep. Hey, you're right. Could be.
So we don't know, We don't know. But yes, rating. We should rate it.
Ethanol. Now, isn't that what they were looking for in Fear the Walking Dead?
To cure their. I think, or it was like the chemical name for it said that basically the same thing as alcohol. So I guess that'd be ethanol, right?
I was bad at chemistry. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, yes, hands under the desk. Let's pull them up and see what you get. Ready?
All right. Let me think. Oh God. All right.
Go. I gave it 4.5. JP gave it 5.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it start to finish.
I did too. I never felt bored or kind of like, and I'm so glad and so thankful that they are jumping around with different storylines.
Yeah, man.
Please keep that up. I feel like it just helps with the pacing. If someone's story is a little lacking or a little boring and it's really just kind of giving you info, it's great to then jump to something else where there's a lot more happening. I can get down with that. I don't mind. The slow parts don't seem as slow when you've got action or something developing right behind it.
Yeah, man. More than anything, I think I'm just really, really happy and grateful that like the show's. It seems like it's on very firm footing. It seems like we're off to a good start. So, yeah. I hate to see that the ratings have dropped so much, apparently, for this season so far. But
yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm sure you can't please everybody. I mean, someone out there is just hating it right now.
And some people just aren't going to, no matter how good a show is, they're just not going to stick around for like 10 years.
Right,
I mean, some people just aren't going to do it.
That's what I had told my dad. I was like, you think some of the animosity with The Walking Dead, and I can already like hear the person like commenting and cussing me out in the comment section now, but yes, I do think that there have been points in this show where the writing's been a little lacking. But do you think also one thing that's making people so fed up with the show is just longevity? I mean, it's just been going for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
9 seasons. That's a good run.
That's a long time.
So, I think some people, are just generally not happy with the writing. But then I also think some people, they just don't, like you said, there's no coming back. It don't matter what they do. They have given up on it a while back because they've been watching it for so long.
Yeah. But no, man, I think it's getting back to its roots and good as ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. So, we'll catch you next week.
We sure will.
If something doesn't pop up between now and then.
I hope not.
Hopefully no more floods in our area. As you can hear, I'm still exhausted. This Thursday night through this morning have been just exhausting. But
yeah. So, good watching. And speaking of fresh starts, if you're a Doctor Who fan, I was very pleased with the... I haven't watched the second episode, but the season premiere of that was really good. New Doctor, new showrunner. It felt like it's kind of getting back to his roots as well.
They had some changes. I'm glad to know that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, man. And they didn't make like a big thing about the Doctor being a woman. It wasn't like some grand statement.
Right.
It was just, oh, blimey, I'm a woman now. I definitely would have been, checking out my equipment a little bit more, but I mean, anyway, that's a subject for another podcast.
You definitely would be Little Dicky at the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, how could you
Chris
not,
Brown
right?
song?
Yeah.
That would be you. Holy, shouldn't I have a vagina?
But whatever.
JP wouldn't come out of his room for like a week.
No, man.
But
it's hard to get me out of there as it is. I mean, all I have is a laptop, so... Anyway, good episode and good podcast and good night.
Good
Is that
day,
a good wrap-up?
whatever
Yeah,
point you're
really
listening.
night,
yeah, it is more morning. But, somebody might be listening at night. So if you are, good night.
Yes.
I'm so out of it today. All right, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
Yep.